So plan for legs today is going to be a touch lighter on the loading side of things than my last leg day, because I can tell I'm still feeling a touch of extra fatigue. Primarily, and I'm not talking like a pulled muscle sort of feeling, but like I can tell my right hamstring is a little extra tight from doing really heavy machine leg press, to the point where I think it'd be in my best interest to maybe back off a touch, do more potentially like extensions, maybe just some lighter pressing for quads. Hamstrings will just be the same as normal. I'm talking hamstring curl, RDL, everything else. But I feel like one thing I don't really reference a ton, even though I didn't expect to be so, I don't want to say knowledgeable, but kind of into it, is the whole fucking camera side of things. I reference this a lot, especially during the pose downs. Like, your phones are getting good, right? The phone that you have in your pocket is more than good enough for your physique photos and everything else. But if you're going to be working out for a pretty long time and you already know it, I would definitely recommend, watching some fucking, I can't name the guys off the top of my head. There's all sorts of fucking camera cinematography, like YouTube channels where their whole shit is just like doing, because their main job is being like a professional photographer, so they know everything about it, right? So that's how they kind of make a YouTube channel, sort of surrounding, like talking about the equipment they're buying, shit like that. But now that I fucking record all this shit on a camera now, instead of just using my phone, I'm fucking really in depth with it. So, I would recommend it, right? But if you're looking into like because I think anybody who's seriously going hard in the gym, I can guarantee you're gonna want to have more videos of yourself doing it than you would think. I mean, I always kind of have, I guess, what's FOMO if it's already happened? But I wish I didn't have such a closed mind about the tripod when I was like a year one, year two lifter. Because I'm such a hypocrite now because I fucking bring the tripod with me to every lift. But I used to be a tripod hater. But in the process of doing that, I barely have any old like training videos from when I was only like I barely have any training videos from being a 200 pounder and below. Not freaking ideal. So, for one thing, I wish I would have at least busted out the fucking tripod. But on the camera side of things, anybody who's if you know anybody who's a fucking camera nerd, or if they're trying to do like photography, like my brother's friend, he's getting into it too. Anytime I get to talk to anybody like that, I really get to fucking nerd out. But yeah, it's kind of rough though, because this shit is fucking expensive. So there is definitely a barrier to fucking entry. But that's where you got to scound around. So this is me talking to the lifter who's curious about switching from recording his shit on his phone to actually busting out a camera. It's hard to fucking say exactly. I'm definitely more of a Sony fan than anything else. It's so nice. It's like fucking sleek, real, kind of easy to understand, like menu systems and everything else. But yeah, even like man, I mean, anytime you see like a Chris Bumstead workout video, or like a Phil Heath and Jay Cutler and everything else, that camera that these guys are holding, I mean, it's like $6,000, man. You know, so that's where I think looking into some used stuff is definitely worth it, right? Maybe get a. So this is definitely not me saying this right now is not for everybody, but if you're already curious and you're already looking up this shit, I would say best bet might be, and it kind of sucks though. The menu is kind of not awesome, but the sensor is pretty good. So if I were looking for something on the more cost-effective end, I'd say ZVE10 used. I'm not talking about the ZVE10 Mark II. I'm talking ZVE10 used, and then maybe a 16 mil, 30 mil, and a 70 mil prime from like Tamron or something. That would probably be a pretty good fucking starter set. But even that would be like $1,000. So if you're just rocking your phone, do not be discouraged, right? I mean, how long was it? Was it like a full year of these workout videos that were all just on my phone before I switched to like a fancy pants camera? It still works, man. And then that kind of brings up like, who even gives a fuck, right? I mean, it's cool. Like, you know, you get your bokeh and everything's out of focus in the background, but you know, don't go down the fucking rabbit hole. Like, I see a lot of TikTok posts now where it's a guy where he's like, the caption of his sort of channel is like, I want to make my workouts look like movies, and he's spending a lot of time like color grading and like really like fancy cinematic shots and everything else. Which, I mean, you'll probably even see today. I always fucking move the tripod around and get like fancy pants angles and shit. But you know, don't focus too much on the fucking capturing of what you're doing, right? 90% of your energy should just be in whatever you're doing on its own. And this doesn't have to be working out, man. Honestly, the social media vector of things is incredibly, well, let's just say useful or beneficial if you can get it started. You know? So my kind of approach with it is always, do you already do something? Is something already going on that's at least kind of cool and noteworthy? Just take that, start fucking recording it, posting about it. There's already a massive community of people who like are going to sit on their phone and watch videos about any given topic at all. So I mean, whatever your shit is, man, dude, I think it's worth documenting, and even not to post. Like, I'm not joking. I wish I could look back on my earlier training. Like, if I had workouts where I like, you know, because now not only do I get to post these videos and stuff, but I get to look back at these in like fucking years, decades. So this is a really cool fucking like archive of my shit. Like, if I had a video where I could like, I was driving to the gym as like a year one lifter, like going to get a chest day at like 175 pounds, and like I talked about it and I did it and I was doing my own commentary and stuff. I wish I could fucking hear what I would have said back then. You know, so don't don't just take whatever you're doing for granted. Odds are, capturing a little bit of it, it'll definitely be pretty cool. So enough camera, enough camera photography nonsense. I was gonna go to a different gym a little bit further down towards Columbus that I like, the Metro Fitness, but it's Sunday, right? Yeah, it's Sunday. They close at 6, man. It's 5:30. Now, I don't know about you, but 20 minutes, you know, I'm no Mike Menser. 20 minutes is not long enough for me to get a leg day in. And that is, I don't think there's any getting around that, you know. So, gonna head to an any time that's a little bit closer. But nothing, even though I'm not gonna go so crazy heavy, that's the only real change. So my basic approach for legs today will be the same as usual. Hamstring curls of a few varieties, maybe some RDLs to be determined. And then I think a lot of leg extensions, man. You know? I definitely am putting a lot more emphasis into heavier pressing on my heavier quad days. But in an instant like today, where I'm going to kind of tone back on like the actual weight being moved, the leg extension is like a, at least for me, it doesn't mess with my knees or anything. The leg extension is like a fucking shark in the water. You know, it's been perfectly designed to kill. So, I mean, I've had lifts where I just camped out on the leg extension and my quads were wrecked afterwards. Now, I would not necessarily recommend that for absolutely every quad day, which is why I don't do it every quad day. You know, like my last few lifts have been a lot of leg press, Smith machine squats, hack squats as well, with leg extensions thrown in. But you know, in the same sense where some arm days I might just do only bicep curls, I don't see a problem with some leg days being mainly leg extension focused, hamstring curl focused. You know, as long as you're hitting whatever targeted muscle you're aiming at in different ways, lift by lift by lift, then I think you're good, man. You know, it's like you're trying to fucking. It's like if me hitting my quads is like me up against somebody in a boxing match, dude. I'm not just gonna do body blows. I'm not just gonna do fucking liver shots, man. I'm gonna jow all over the place, right? I'm gonna fucking stick and dive and everything else in between, you know? So either way, I think in about an hour and a half's time, because I'm almost there, it's like 5-ish minutes away from right now. So in about an hour and a half-ish time, I should be sitting in whatever lighting I deem to be the coolest, hats off, saying to myself, holy crap, look at those veins. So let's just turn that thought into a fucking reality. Let's get started. I can probably say this and have it be true. This is my favorite hamstring curl. Seated. Laying is a whole different thing, but seated curls, this is my favorite, man. And when I say that, that does not mean, oh my God, Sam said this is his favorite. That's going to be my favorite also. It's just, this is my favorite based on my own fucking like anatomy. You know, everybody's hips and knees are like internally rotated and angled at different ways. I mean, that's why for some people, a real wide squat with their toes pointed out, that feels very natural for them. For me, that fucking sucks. That's why I like my sort of toes elevated or heels elevated, like really narrow squat. Like this feels incredibly natural for me. So same thing with this machine. Plus, I think also I just like the strength curve of it too. But either way, I've finally reached a point where the full stack is actually like manageable weight. Where these, at least for the first like 5 or 6, aren't going to be nasty, throw the weight around reps. They're going to be pretty solid and controlled. And then once I've reached a certain amount of fatigue from doing those good controlled reps, I'm not just going to end the set. You know, I'm going to try to do as many as possible, even if that means just doing a few like barely moving partials at the end, and then calling it quits and saying, okay, let's take a seat, sip on my water, come back again in like 2 minutes or something. So let's just play some fucking Jorge Rivera epic concept album. I've really been liking that, and get hyped up. Holy fuck. Oh. That's pretty abrupt fucking failure. But let's run it up. Same weight, same everything. Okay. One more heavy one like that. And let's change gears to a light squeezing set. Oh my God. Okay. I lied. Let's do some RDLs first. Whew. Those were nasty though. Goodness. Definitely be careful though on heavy RDLs. I've pulled my shit more times than I would be proud to admit. I mean, I'm not like 20, like 3, but it still sucks, you know? Like the last thing you want to do, get yourself hyped up for a heavy set of hamstring curls. Curl. Oh. It's no fun, but let's move on. Nothing fancy. Just try my damnedest to squeeze my hamstrings and nothing else. Oh my god. One more, I think. Oh man. Holy crap. Okay. Oh. Whew. I think that's enough RDLs. And I cannot express this enough. The stretch and kind of squeeze from an RDL is so different than a fucking hamstring curl, it's hardly even comparable. So I think I've been slacking and also leaving gains on the table hamstring wise by not having at least a few sets of hip hinging hamstring work in my lifts. But I think let's finish with a leg curl burnout, maybe 2, then move on to quads. Ugh. Fuck. Nothing even too fucking heavy. This is only half the stack. Well, a little more. But after those heavy hamstring curls over there, plus the fatigue from those adductors, or those, what am I saying, those hamstring curls. Yeah, I'm losing my mind. Those freaking RDLs. Even though, I mean, 2 plates and a 25 on the Smith, that's not like insane weight. But the fatigue from that squeeze, like holding it on top for a second, I don't need any more weight than this. So I think just burn out here. That'll be it for hamstrings, man. Move on to quads. Okay. Oh my god. Okay. Hamstrings cooked. All right. So, time to ease into quads. Similar to my arm day I did yesterday, I've been on kind of a kick of doing light squeezing reps. I guess not for hamstrings today, but like the last arm day and the last back day, or the last chest day, very much so leaning towards more volume and a lighter squeezing rep kind of style. So I'll do a little bit of quads like this first. Not necessarily because I think, oh, this is the best set, or this is the best style of set, but just because I haven't been doing it that much, you know, I want to change it up. So conventionally, normally I want to start with really crazy heavy single leg sets to failure, but changing it up. Let's start with a lighter, holding for a whole second, slow rep set. So I'm not saying it's 100% better, but it is different, and different is better. So let's get nice and cozy. Okay. Yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Oh. Let's do a few more like that. One notch heavier though. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. One more. I'll make this a little bit of a superset. Okay. Okay. Holy crap. All right. Let's move on. This should be reasonably nasty, so let me go to my phone for a fucking different song. But here's the plan. Two-parter. Sissy squats as the pre-exhaustion, and then the stack on the leg press like normal for the burnout. Now this stack is not like godly heavy, so that's the point of the pre-exhaustion. You know, after I do 10, 15, whatever sissy squats, by the time I get on to the actual leg press portion, it's gonna feel substantially heavier. All right, come on. All right. No. Okay, fuck. There we go. Yeah. 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 Okay. Whew. Let's repeat that. That was perfect. Okay. Oh, fuck. Come on. There we go. Yay! No! No! Okay. Holy crap. Yeah. One more of these. Oh. Whew. This very well may be the finisher, but I'll have to do it to really know. So portion A of the set over here. I'll think about it for a second, but leg extensions, and then once I've wrecked my quads, immediately jump off, run over to leg press, and burn out over there. And then potentially even add some sissy squats at the end, make it a fucking triple set. Yeah, that'll be nasty. But I'm gonna sit here, get hyped up, and throw the shit around. Okay. No, I know what I'll start with. Yeah. Let's do some alternating in sets. Or reps, rather. All right. That's a little heavy. Here we go. Okay. One more. Okay. Holy shit. There we go. Yay. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Come on. No, let me out. Fuck. Okay, I lied. No sissy squats. That's enough. I think let's go pose down. See how the legs are looking after a moderately squeeze-focused day. Oh, goodness. All right. Legs are fucking done. Hamstrings was very conventional for me. Quads, I really try to put some emphasis on making those much more squeezing, fucking kind of burning sort of style sets. But that light machine leg press at the end, I mean, I say light, it was as heavy as I could go with the pre-exhaustion. But that shit was fucking burning, man. That shit was fucking burning. So, let's see what kind of pump ensued. And look, it's not like I think that the pump is a direct fucking muscle growth inducer. But I do think it serves as a very good gauge of how good your workout was. In twofold. One, like how hard you went, and also like how well you were prepared. If I'm fully rested, fully hydrated, and well fed, I'm gonna have a nasty pump. If any of those things are out of whack, guess what? The pump will suffer, no matter how hard I go. Well, let's back up into some direct lighting and see how we're looking width-wise. Honestly, not the best lighting in here for legs, at least, but I certainly feel like they're pretty small. Oh my gosh. Oh, yeah. Rather pumped if I say so myself. But nothing else to discuss. Let's get in the car and roll, man. We're done. After one Arnold pose. Very hamstring. Is it this? No, I'll go this way. Yeah, this will be better for me. Oh, there we go. All right. Now it's Graham. Look, man. After a workout, I'm not one to believe that you will make zero gains if you don't take control and, benefit from the anabolic window. But I will say this. Odds are, the sooner that you can eat something post-workouts, the fucking better. Because that's just time, like, in a bulking context, I guess dieting, it gets a little bit more chill, but bulking up, dude, your MO, your fucking primary objective, if you're playing fucking any story-based game, your main quest is to be chowing down on the regular. And the more consistently you can do that, the easier that it's going to be to actually make consistent and regular fucking gains. The only reason that I'm going to ever wake up, let's just say, the same weight perpetually, or no longer be growing on a week-to-week or month-to-month basis on this bulking phase, would be if my calorie intake wasn't matching where I needed it to be to actually fucking induce growth, because it is a balancing act. It is definitely two systems working at once, because if you just eat a crazy amount of food but you don't train, then you're just gonna get fat. But if you train like a total baller and you don't eat enough calories to really recover from your training, then you're not gonna grow. You're just gonna be a lean machine. Now, if that's your goal, if you just want to be a lean, fucking active, muscular guy, badass, right? But if you want to continue to grow and get a little bit bigger and actually put some more muscle onto your frame, then, I mean, you kind of have to do both of them hand in hand, right? So that's where I'm not gonna dog on you. I'm definitely not gonna dog on you for rolling up and getting some kind of fast food post lift. Now, is that your best bet every meal of every day? Definitely fucking not. You know, this morning's breakfast was some fucking was like 7 packs of instant oatmeal, which yeah, I mean, probably an extra 20 grams of sugar that wouldn't be in just plain oats. But you know, I want that fucking blueberry or strawberry or peach everything. You know, third meal. Actually, fuck, what was my third meal today? I can't even remember now. I track all this stuff, but I totally forgot. I can tell I'm definitely fucking carb depleted from having finished that fucking leg there. But pumped, fatigued, hamstrings a little bit more so than quads. I did want to kind of back off just a touch and focus more so on the squeezing, kind of burning part of quads today, which on those sets of leg extensions, I definitely fucking did. But yeah, I think I could have handled, well, I definitely could have handled probably two, well, not, maybe not two, but definitely one more of those like leg extension supersetted into machine leg press sets. Because since the weight wasn't so crazy today, I definitely think I could have increased the quad volume. But I think in a grand scheme of things, probably a little bit better to do. Yeah, well, you never know, right? It's like, let's say, let's just take you for example, right this very moment. Let's assuming you haven't lifted yet today. Whatever lift you're gonna do, not even hypothetically, there probably is a perfect amount of volume for you for this, you know, for this given lift on that given day, based on your given recovery and hydration and everything else. To the point where, if you only do 2 sets of chest, you probably could do more and benefit from more. But if you try to do 20 hard sets of chest, like it's probably overkill. You know, so my goal with these lifts is for each given muscle that I'm training is I'm trying to do as much intense hard volume as necessary to stimulate growth, but not do more than necessary such that I'm just, you know, stressing out my system and causing myself to have more just damage to recover from without having actually induced any extra muscle growth, you know. So that's something that I've been trying to like really hone in on over the last few years, and I think I'm getting close. I'm getting close to knowing what I'm doing volume wise, at least for my specific build and my genetics and everything else. Because as a beginner, I say this a lot, but it's kind of fucking gnarly to think about now. But I used to do fucking 25 set lifts, and I'm not talking 25 sets total. I mean, like, I've had arm days where it's 25 sets of fucking triceps and 25 sets of biceps. Now, those sets were definitely not as intense as they should have been. I was kind of spreading out my intensity over the course of those 25 sets rather than doing, you know, more like 8 or 10 really crazy, hard, nasty ones. But you know, that worked then, but I don't think that's going to be ideal now, you know. So over the course of time, as you get faster and, or not faster, but as you get bigger and more developed, you gotta come across this problem a little bit fucking smarter. You know, it's like you're going through grade school, or you're moving from fucking you know, your 100 level classes to your 400 level classes. They're gonna get more difficult, but you're gonna be able to handle them as long as you adapt and you get smarter as time progresses. So the same thing goes with training, man. You know, for some guys, especially if you're fucking let's just say you're a math whiz, you probably didn't study much in fucking elementary math. You could just do it. You just understood it. You know, maybe same shit for fucking geometry and like algebra 1 or whatever else in high school. But, you know, odds are just riding off of your sort of baseline natural skill, shit's gonna get hard, man. You know, shit is gonna get hard quick. And that's where when you run into something troublesome, at least in terms of like, okay, I can no longer like actually do this without extra work. Then that's where I think you gotta kind of condense your training in terms of its intensity, and then, you know, just make sure you hit it in multiple fucking ways. Right? So that's where I don't mind the idea of, and I kind of do this anyway. I don't really plan it, but I still kind of do. Of like, if you're doing a twice a week split, I pretty much hit everything once every 8 days, you know, because I do legs, chest, back, arms, and then legs again. So it's like once every 4 days I've hit everything. So like that. But I'll definitely do a heavy day. Let's say I did a really heavy chest day like a week ago, then maybe I'll make today, or like the last chest day, more lighter, kind of squeezing focused. And same thing with legs. My last leg day was freaking bananas heavy, especially for quads. And then today is a little bit of a lighter squeezing focused day to kind of, you know, counter it. So the last thing that I would ever say, or the last thing that I would ever want somebody to be doing, is to just repeat the exact same routine on end. Because the same stimulus is not always going to give you the same fucking result. And I know that's a little bit silly, but it's kind of that's kind of hard for the human mind to wrap around. You know, like exponent, like linear shit. Like I plug in 1 + 1 = 2 in the calculator. That's what the human brain is very used to. Anything exponential or anything that kind of approaches limits gets a little bit trickier to wrap your head around. So that's where I feel like a lot of guys kind of reach a point in their training where they've lifted for years and they've kind of, you know, let's say for 2 years you did the exact same workouts, the exact same everything, and you made gains for 2 years. If suddenly now you're plateaued, you it's kind of hard to fight against that in your mind because you have 2 years of like literal evidence that this training that I've been doing has been working. Now suddenly it's not working. You know, it's kind of that's hard to fucking open up your mind to. But that's where you got to be kind of pretty much just open to the idea that you're not doing everything right. And I'm definitely trying to get there. You know, my training has changed over the years for the better as far as I'm concerned, or as far as I know. But I want to keep improving, right? Because if you've been lifting for, I mean, I don't want to be mean, but I'll see guys on TikTok where they say, and they could be lying, you know, I don't know. But let's just say they're telling the truth. Like they've been lifting for 10 years. Like that's the caption of this video. And I wouldn't know it. And I'm not even talking about like size. Like I just mean like the technique and like the things that guys say. It's like if you've really been doing something for 10 years, that should show. You know, if somebody's in the military for 10 years, they're a goddamn well seasoned fucking veteran, right? And that should be very different compared to like somebody who just got straight out of basic, right? So the longer that you work out, it's not a passive activity. You know, I can go to I can play Counter Strike for, or whatever. I could play CS:GO for like 3 years straight, and if I'm just playing casually, I'm not gonna become a fucking what is it, global elite master? Yeah, global elite master. Like I'm not gonna be competitive compared to somebody who's like an actual fucking esports player, because me just going it like loading into a comp game for fun and just kind of like chilling with it, very passive, just like I'm going through the same motions, you know. If you looked at me like, oh, I'm moving the mouse also, I'm hitting the buttons also, I'm shooting people also, but it's very different to do something than to actually like really apply yourself and trying to like manually improve it as well. Looping back around to the car talk on the way here, that's where I think the camera fucking helps, man. You know, and not just with working out, but with anything. And when I would do diving in college, in high school, what um what they would do is they would set up a camera and then a big ass TV too, and the TV would be on like a 1 minute delay or like a 30-second delay. So you know you would do a fucking flip and shit into the water, then you'd get out, you know, dry off a second, and then you could watch yourself do it and really be able to kind of critique it, like say, like, oh crap, my legs were fucking seriously bent. Yeah, I'm driving the wrong way, fucking talking too long. But like to be able to watch yourself do something and then manually make adjustments, that is a pretty powerful fucking tool. So, you know, maybe next time you're squatting, if some of your buddies have kind of talked to you like, dude, you're not really totally hitting depth, and you think like, oh, what are you talking about, dude? I hit 90. I'm hitting depth, bro. That was fucking legit. The camera won't lie to you. You know, the fucking camera will not lie to you. That playback is going to show you like, holy crap, I've been quarter squatting this whole time, right? So that's another slightly unspoken benefit of busting out the tripod. Makes it much easier to fucking, you know, clean up your form a little bit. Not that I'm like the form police, but I'm a. Is my form really that bad? Honestly, I think I think I just get a little bit of a bad rap because I make so much ego lifting talk. But I tell you what, I've seen bad form. I've seen real bad form, and it's a little bit wilder than my kind of the just nasty kind of partial reps at the bottom. But I think that's all I gotta fucking say. When you go home, chill, eat, eat some more, and then eat even a little bit more. Go home, rest up, and then chest tomorrow. So that'll be a fucking nasty one. I'll see you then.